Hey all, welcome to Newspaper Breakdown. Hope everyone's enjoying the snow. 12th of December, news to get through as always. We'll start with obvious dodginess that is the government. A lobbying group headed up by Tory MPs and peers have recommended more NHS privatisation in a recent report. Of course, this is obvious. This is whilst they are being funded by private health companies. This is the all-party parliamentary group for healthcare infrastructure, which is a body of MPs that consider the physical infrastructure needs of the NHS and social care. The APPGs, they have no actual parliamentary status, though when they release reports, they are usually endorsed by ministers. The HPPG for Healthcare Infrastructure is sponsored by Assura, Eric Wright, Fulcrum and GB Partnerships, which are four private firms with money in health infrastructure. This particular APPG has 10 members, 6 Tories, 3 Labour and 1 Lib Dem. Now the thing with APPGs, which are all party, why do I keep saying party? All party parliamentary groups, they are normally funded by private firms. They are, in essence, lobby groups. And the thing is with all of this, if you are being paid by a private firm and you're an MP spouting reports about what would be best, you really should be letting everyone know at the very start that this is all coming from particular money. Because they're going to claim, oh no, we may be being paid by them, this is all our opinions. Bollocks. None of these people are trustworthy. So you've got 6 Tories, 3 Labour, 1 Lib Dem, don't trust any of them. If they're being paid by, if this particular group is being paid by companies that have fingers in RNHS for privatisation, take a step back and have a think. Would you trust it? No, you shouldn't. Sunak has been condemned for using disingenuous figures after repeating claims that meeting union demands for public sector pay rises would cost every household £1,000 a year extra. The figure has been used by a few ministers over the past few days and will continue to be used because that's what people do. It's a good figure to just parrot. £1,000 a year, very easy. You're down the pub, someone who doesn't like the strikers, they will be able to use that. It's very simple to hear, very simple to remember. £1,000 a year. These people want to cost us £1,000 a year. Very simple, easy done. This is based on a government estimate. The £1,000 a year is based on a government estimate that meeting an 11% pay rise for all public sector staff would cost £28 billion, spread over 28 million households. This calculation has been called into question, given that one, not all of the public sector is striking, and the award recommendations by pay review bodies is 5%, not 11%. Of course, what we're seeing and what we've seen for a while is a continuation of, instead of the government doing anything of use, is going, right, how do we deal with the strikes? People who want to be paid fairly, they're the bad guy. That's what they're doing. Bad guy. And then you'll keep on seeing this because it's going to keep on affecting you. Maybe you'll unfortunately have someone who is injured and not going to be picked up by the ambulance. Maybe you're trying to get somewhere and it's in your way. And in your mind, you're going to be going, oh, right, who to blame for this? Government are going to be keep on going. They're going to be saying, I tell you who to blame. those people, they want to cost you money. They want to cost you money. We're the good guys. And then you'll go, oh, yeah. Bad. Working people. Because soon that keeps on going on. And all the governments, these strikes, they're affecting the working people. They're the ones being put down by this. They're the ones being put down. Who does Sunak and the government reckon are doing the strikes? Do they reckon it's a bunch of billionaires? Because it's fucking not. They are working people striking. And it is what we've seen continually with class, with fucking racism, with everything. It's all about to keep us apart from each other, not to stand together, which is why the government are able to do whatever the fuck they like, why billionaires are able to exist, is because if you keep on keeping us apart, we can't collectively come together and take them all the fuck down. The cost of antibiotics needed to treat strep A have skyrocketed, with industry professionals claiming that it is due to prices being hiked to take advantage of unprecedented demand because they're bastards. The cost of amoxicillin has risen from 80p to £18. Shortages have also been driven by complicated supply chains for medications and the raw materials used to make them in different parts of the world. Greed. On the fundamental, we're at a point with like the capitalism of say like the 1950s and the capitalism of now are two different things completely. Now we've got capitalism on steroids and cocaine and fucking a couple of cans of Monster Energy. They are off their tits and everything is about money. Screw everything, screw everyone. Now, we've always had problems with pharmaceutical companies. Pharmaceutical companies are both good and bad. And over time, they're more and more bad than they are good. And this is what we're seeing here, greed. For people's lives, for the lives of children, and you don't want to say that because it makes it seem like you're using the deaths of children as a way to make a point, but it's reality here. This is reality. You keep on putting up prices, you're going to find shortages. People aren't going to be able to get the medication that they need, and of course you've got the government is still there going, oh, there aren't any shortages. Whilst all the fucking pharmacists are saying, well, where the fuck is it then, lad? Where the fuck is it? Because I can't seem to find it. I can't seem to find this medication that we need because I believe there are shortages. And the government's going, oh, no. Have you checked under the fucking duvet, you little prick? Christ on a bike. Nurses. We'll go over to nurses. This isn't in any particular order. If it was, then you would notice that I would put like all of the stuff that flows together in one, but I just write it as I see it. The Nurses Trade Union has offered the government a pause on the planned strikes before Christmas, but has been completely ignored by the government. They were offered a chance to enter pay talks, but the government have refused, with Health Secretary Steve Barclay having turned down offers to negotiate 5 times now. Government claim it is not their job to negotiate. However, that's horseshit, as they're the ones who control the budget for the NHS, so they can get involved. As with all of the strikes, the government can get involved because it's all public sector. But they kept saying, oh no, it's not us, not for us. Imagine if they actually did some work. One of the things I've got with austerity seemed to me like a government just wanting to do as little work as possible. Sell everything over to the private sector so they themselves don't actually have to put any effort in. In the metro, on the metro online, there is a map showing where you can keep warm for free in the winter. That is a depressing fucking sentence, isn't it? Food banks, baby banks, warm banks. We need to stop calling them banks, of course, because they're not. If they were banks and the government would be bending over backwards to help them. Today, there is a government Cobra meeting to discuss plans for military staff and civil servants to use as cover for striking workers in the coming weeks, with Royal Mail, nurses, paramedics, rail employees and Border Force staff all striking over pay and conditions. Military staff and civil servants are being trained in case they are needed as we speak. It is the default thought of the government for anything. It's simply right, something's happening, fuck it. Military? Constantly. Everything. How are we going to stop people coming over to this country? Military. Strikes? Military. Just military all the fucking time. It's strange. There is an interesting look, a list, early warning signs of fascism. It's not something you should particularly take as verbatim when it comes to the early warning signs. You can tick them all off. That doesn't necessarily mean fascism. Things are more complicated than that, of course. But one of the things is, one of the tick off on the list is the supremacy of the military, which we don't have in this country. However, our government do seem to think that the military can do absolutely anything. It's very strange. We've got hospitals in England have paid up to £5,200 for a single shift to an agency doctor. This is figures obtained by Labour through Freedom of Information, showed the most expensive shift was £5,234. This is of course due to workforce shortages that we've had at the NHS for years. Government have been in power for 12 years, nothing has been done about this. And so now we've got the NHS has been paying billions to agency staff. You want to make sure that the government, that the NHS has more money? Stop shit like this. This should be the fucking first way to go about it. We've got mass shortages in both doctors and nurses and staff. The government have done fuck all for 12 years. We're at a point now where the NHS is paying billions of pounds to agency workers because agency workers actually get paid for their fucking work. And now agency workers are able to hold the NHS to ransom because the NHS needs staff, and the agency workers say, well, fucking pay me. And so now, billions of pounds of the NHS budget is going to these fucks. And there's nothing particularly wrong with them. They're doing, I mean, I've got no particular qualms against the agency workers. They're getting paid. But the government should be looking at, why are we spending billions on doing this? Why can't we keep NHS staff? Why would NHS staff prefer to go to agency? Because they're underpaid, they're under fucking appreciated. As they go to the agency, they get paid. And they get to do their own fucking hours. The UK Statistics Authority has reprimanded the government for claiming that the UK has secured, that's the word. So the UK Statistics Authority has reprimanded the government for claiming the UK has secured £800 billion in new trade deals since leaving the EU, pointing out that the figure includes deals rolled over from before Brexit. The UK SA also said that the government should provide sources in future, which is a good thing for everyone. If you're sending out lots of information and you're something like a government, you should tell people where your information's coming from. They won't do, because they're just picking figures out the fucking sky. It's the 40 bloody new hospitals all over again. Where the fuck we would find people to actually staff these hospitals is beyond me. The government is facing fresh legal challenges over proposed plans to award up to 130 new licences for North Sea oil and gas, with 3 campaign groups writing to Business Secretary Grant Shapps, he of 3 names, explaining their belief that the licences are unlawful and how it is against the UK's own rules and international climate obligations. This we're also going to see legal challenges with regards to the coal, the new coal mine that is open. The government will be looking to give 130 new licences to pump more oil from North Sea oil and gas, because it seemingly is easier to continue fucking up the planet than it would be to actually think maybe renewables are the way forward. I can't begin to wonder. It doesn't work up here how our government, for all of the we want to make Britain great and everything, we haven't decided in either IT or renewables or something to be world leading, because we're world leading at fuck all at the moment. Not even, I mean, we were world leading in finance, and that's gone to pot because of Brexit. You'd think that renewables, that would be our fucking right. Renewables, put fucking money into renewables, will be world leading. Then you can sell renewables to other people in the country, in the world, and make fucking money from it. But that would require a bit of fucking nous. And of course, Sunak isn't a great businessman. He just fucked into it. That's it. Like Sunak fucked into money. He's not a great businessman. Like the majority of billionaires, they get money from their fucking parents and then they get lucky. That's it. They're not geniuses. Starmer has accused ministers of profound lack of leadership over nursing strikes. He's right, and says the RCN's pay demands are unaffordable, because even Starmer can't fucking help himself. You would think that at some point Labour would think, right, shall we back the fucking strikers? Should we back them? I know that he wants to be in the middle and doesn't want to make any waves and give any targets for the fucking the Tories, but at some point you have to stand up for something. And if all we're seeing from Starmer, what he seems to believe in is very little indeed. Official stats by the Trade Union Congress found that real wages, which is the amount people earned in relation to their cost of living, have fallen by an average of £76 a month in 2022 as a result of pay not keeping up with inflation. Key workers in the public sector, that is £180 a month worse off in real terms than a year ago, and you wonder why they're fucking striking. This is the sharpest fall in real wages since 1977, and the second worst on record since the end of the Second World War. That says it all. That says absolutely everything you need to know as to why we are where we are at the moment. There is nothing else that you need with regards to information. Nothing, absolutely nothing. We are at a point where the cost of living is getting worse because there's no productivity, and we've had 12 years of a government trying to destroy our country. Keep on being told that you can't say that these MPs are evil. I fundamentally disagree, because either they are evil or their incompetence is of evil levels. Because no one could be this bad accidentally. I don't think so. I do not think you could fall this badly and screw everyone else. Because don't forget, every idea that they're doing affects certain people. But that's enough of that. Hope we all have a day, and I shall catch you tomorrow.